First things first, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and drop your thoughts in the comments, because what I'm about to tell you is one of the biggest shocks in WNBA history. Now let's get into it. The basketball world was blindsided. Fans were sipping their drinks, scrolling their feeds, and then suddenly, boom, the headline no one saw coming dropped like a thunderclap. Stephanie White, the respected head coach of the Indiana Fever, was out. Gone. Just like that. And in her place, not some rising assistant, not a veteran WNBA coach. No, this was something bigger. This was a name that carries legendary weight across the entire sport. Larry Bird. Yes, that Larry Bird. The three-time NBA champion, the Hall of Famer, the man who defined a generation of basketball in Boston and then reshaped it again as an executive in Indiana. This wasn't just a coaching switch. This was a franchise earthquake. The kind of move that instantly shifts power dynamics, rattles media outlets, and has every single fan asking, why now? Think about it. The Fever weren't just making a routine decision. They were making a statement, a bold, unprecedented move that said, we're not just here to compete, we're here to redefine the future of the WNBA. And in that very moment, as Larry Bird's name was announced, the Indiana Fever didn't just gain a coach. They gained a symbol of basketball greatness stepping into their world, ready to leave an impact nobody can predict. When the announcement dropped, all eyes turned to Caitlin Clark. This wasn't just another rookie standing on the stage. This was the face of women's basketball, the player who had single-handedly turned Indiana into the hottest ticket in the WNBA. Every camera lens zoomed in. Every microphone tilted closer. Every fan held their breath. And Caitlin? She was speechless. For a moment, the arena froze. You could feel the silence press down, like the entire building was waiting for her heartbeat to kickstart the moment. Then she finally spoke. Short, simple words, but ones that detonated across the basketball world like a bomb. The Indiana Fever have a new head coach. Larry Bird. That's all it took. 14 words that flipped the script on everything we thought we knew. Fans gasped, reporters scrambled, social media erupted. Within seconds, Larry Bird and Caitlin Clark were trending worldwide. Memes, hot takes, reaction videos, you name it. The internet was on fire. And here's the kicker. This wasn't just Caitlin reading a statement. This felt like Caitlin Clark owning the moment, taking control of the franchise in a way no rookie has ever dared to do. She didn't just announce the new era, she ignited it. That look in her eyes said everything. This wasn't just another press conference, this was history. Here's the truth. This wasn't just a coaching change. This was a seismic shift in women's basketball. Think about it. When you replace Stephanie White, a seasoned WNBA coach, with Larry Bird, a global basketball icon, you're not just tweaking the playbook. You're rewriting the entire blueprint. The moment Caitlin Clark said his name, the ripple effects exploded. ESPN, Bleacher Report, every sports network you can name. Suddenly, they weren't just covering a WNBA update, they were treating this like a franchise-altering earthquake. And they were right, because this decision doesn't just impact the Fever, it reshapes the WNBA. Suddenly, the boundaries between men's and women's basketball are blurred in a way we've never seen before. A Hall of Fame NBA legend stepping into the WNBA sidelines? That's not business as usual. That's a statement of intent. For players, it signals that the bar for coaching talent just got higher. For executives, it forces every franchise to ask, are we thinking big enough? And for fans, especially young girls watching at home, it proves that women's basketball is no longer fighting for respect. It's demanding it. And let's not forget the Fever's secret weapon, Caitlin Clark. Because this move didn't just drop out of thin air. Her rising influence, her ability to pull sponsors, fans, and national headlines, that's part of why this door opened in the first place. In one press conference, the Indiana Fever weren't just a struggling franchise anymore. They became the epicenter of a new era. The WNBA won't look the same after this, and neither will Caitlin Clark's role inside it. Before Caitlin, Indiana was fighting for relevance. With Caitlin, they're selling out arenas. They're trending on Twitter every single game night. They're the center of the basketball conversation. And with that spotlight comes influence. Suddenly, Caitlin isn't just running the offense on the court. She's got a voice in the front office. She's sitting at the table for conversations that rookies normally never hear about. Coaching styles, long-term strategies, even who leads the team. Think about that. A rookie with the power to shape not only her team, but the league itself. And the wild part? She's not abusing that influence. She's using it to elevate the game, to push for excitement, for creativity, for a style of play that fans can't look away from. The Fever are no longer just a WNBA team. They're an extension of Caitlin Clark's vision, her instincts, her personality. That's why this Larry Bird move makes so much sense. Because if you're going to give Caitlin Clark the keys to the franchise, why not pair her with one of the greatest basketball minds of all time? This isn't just about winning games. It's about building a new identity, one where Caitlin isn't just the face of the Fever, she's the architect of its future. Before Caitlin Clark arrived, the Indiana Fever were just another team. Sure, they had talent, sure, they had history, but let's be real, Gainbridge Fieldhouse wasn't packed, national coverage was minimal, and sponsors weren't exactly knocking down the doors. Then Caitlin showed up. And in the span of a few months, the Fever went from forgettable to unmissable. Attendance skyrocketed. Season ticket sales surged by more than 400%. That's not just growth, that's a cultural explosion. Suddenly, arenas that used to have empty rows were jam-packed with fans wearing Clark jerseys, holding homemade signs, and lining up hours before tip-off just for a glimpse of her warm-ups. And it wasn't just Indiana. On the road, too, Caitlin turned every arena into an event. Wherever she played, ticket demand spiked. Opposing arenas saw record crowds. She wasn't just lifting the Fever, she was lifting the entire league. Then came the sponsors. Local businesses, national brands, and global corporations all wanted a piece of the Caitlin Clark effect. Commercials, endorsements, partnerships. The Fever, once overlooked in marketing conversations, suddenly became the hottest property in women's sports. Social media amplified it all. Every highlight, every logo three-pointer, every behind-the-back dime, instantly viral. ESPN, SportsCenter, Bleacher Report, TikTok, Instagram. Caitlin's name was everywhere. What does that mean for Indiana? It means money. It means visibility. It means momentum that other franchises can only dream of. And here's the kicker. This isn't just about business. This popularity feeds directly back into the culture of the team. The players feel it. The coaches feel it. The league feels it. Suddenly, Fever games aren't just games. They're spectacles. Events you can't miss. That's the Caitlin Clark effect. And it's the foundation for everything that comes next. Here's the thing. Stephanie White isn't a bad coach. In fact, she's respected across the league. She's experienced. She's proven. She's guided teams before. But when it came to Caitlin Clark, the chemistry just wasn't there. On paper, White wanted structure, discipline, and safe, methodical basketball. But Caitlin, she thrives on instinct, on risk, on creativity, on pulling up from the logo and threading impossible passes through defenses. And that clash started to show. Caitlin herself admitted in interviews and podcasts that sometimes she felt restricted under White's system. Imagine dropping 32 points, 9 assists, and 8 rebounds in a game, yet still feeling like you weren't being trusted to fully play your game. One moment really stuck out, a tight matchup against New York. Caitlin was rolling, nearly on her way to a triple-double. Then she committed a late turnover. Instead of letting her fight through it, White benched her, calling it a teaching moment. But for Clark, it wasn't teaching. It was limiting. Because here's what Caitlin believes. Greatness in basketball isn't about avoiding mistakes. It's about seizing opportunities, playing free, trusting your instincts, and when your coach slows the game down, takes the ball out of your hands, or benches you for being bold, that's when the magic dies. White often leaned on clock management and conservative play, even with big leads. But to Caitlin, that robbed her of chances to energize fans, hit momentum-killing daggers, and put teams away for good. And the bigger issue, White wanted her to play more like Paige Buchers, a composed, safe, steady star. But Caitlin isn't Paige. She's something else entirely. She's a generational talent who thrives on improvisation, fearlessness, and flair. Trying to mold her into someone else didn't just frustrate her. It risked wasting her true potential. That's where the tension boiled over. Because at the end of the day, Caitlin Clark isn't built to be managed like every other player. She's built to be unleashed. And Stephanie White wasn't the coach to do it. When Caitlin Clark finally spoke out about her experience under Stephanie White, she didn't hold back. She made it clear the system just didn't fit her game. In her own words, she felt stifled. For a player whose instincts are her superpower, being told to play safe was like putting a leash on a racehorse. She gave examples. One came in a game against New York when the Fever had a chance to put things away. Caitlin saw an opening. Her instincts screamed for the quick strike, the risky but rewarding play. Instead, the message from the sidelines was clear. Slow it down. Protect the ball. Don't take chances. That wasn't just frustrating for Caitlin. It was unnatural. She lives for the moments where the crowd holds its breath, where one fearless pass or deep three-pointer can swing the game completely. Playing timid isn't in her DNA, and it wasn't just about slowing the game down. She recalled how, in clutch moments, she'd get benched after a turnover. Sure, mistakes happen, but for Clark, those teaching moments killed her rhythm. They chipped away at her confidence to play freely, and worse, they sent the message that boldness wasn't welcome. Caitlin summed it up perfectly. Basketball isn't about avoiding mistakes, it's about maximizing opportunities. That's the mindset of a generational star. Someone who knows her talent can't shine in a box. Someone who understands that her brand of basketball, fast, fearless, instinctive, is exactly what electrifies fans and keeps the Fever relevant. But under White, she felt molded into something she wasn't. Expected to be more cautious, more controlled, more safe. And for Caitlin Clark, safe basketball is boring basketball. Her words made one thing crystal clear. She didn't just want a coach. She needed a partner. Someone who would trust her instincts, unleash her creativity, and let her play the game her way. And that's why this coaching change wasn't just shocking, it was necessary. And then, the name dropped. Larry Bird. The reaction? Pure disbelief. Fans gasped, reporters scrambled, Twitter, Instagram, ESPN, it all lit up in seconds. Because this wasn't just a new hire, this was the Larry Bird. 3 NBA championships, 3 MVP awards, 12 All-Star appearances, a Hall of Fame career that forever changed the game of basketball. And that's before we even talk about his time as a coach and executive, where he guided the Indiana Pacers to sustained success and earned a reputation as one of the sharpest basketball minds alive. Larry Bird isn't just a legend, he's basketball royalty. And now, he's walking into the WNBA, ready to lead Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever. Think about that for a second. The kid from French Lick, Indiana, who grew into one of the most iconic players of all time, now coming full circle, back home, back in Indiana, to coach one of the most talked-about stars in women's sports. You couldn't script this in Hollywood. What makes Bird so powerful isn't just his resume. It's his mentality. He played with grit, with intelligence, with a relentless competitiveness that defined an entire era of basketball. And when he transitioned into coaching and management, he brought that same fire. Crafting teams that played smart, tough, and fearless. And isn't that exactly what Caitlin Clark needs? A coach who understands instinct, who embraces risk when it leads to reward, who knows what it feels like to carry a franchise, to have the weight of expectation on your shoulders every single night. Bird's arrival isn't symbolic, it's strategic. It's saying, if Caitlin Clark is going to be the face of the WNBA, she deserves a coach who knows how to build legends, because he is one. For the Fever, this isn't just an upgrade, it's a revolution. When you put Larry Bird and Caitlin Clark together, you don't just get a coach and a player. You get a storm. Larry Bird brings decades of basketball wisdom, a mind sharpened by championship battles, front office strategy, and the kind of clutch experience that can't be taught. Caitlin Clark brings generational talent. Her deep shooting range, her court vision, her fearless creativity, and the kind of charisma that turns every game into a spectacle. Now imagine those two forces colliding on the same team. Every practice becomes a masterclass. Every game becomes a chess match where Bird's old-school brilliance meets Clark's modern firepower. This isn't just about X's and O's. It's about rewriting what WNBA basketball can look like. Picture it, Clark pulling up from the logo while Bird, the man who invented swagger in the 80s, nods in approval. Clark threading impossible passes, knowing her coach trusts her instincts instead of second-guessing them. A rookie superstar feeding off the wisdom of a Hall of Famer who's been to the mountaintop and knows the way back. But here's where it gets even bigger. This partnership isn't just about wins and losses. Off the court, it's about attention. With Bird on the sidelines and Clark on the floor, every Fever game instantly becomes must-watch TV. National broadcasts, headlines, social media firestorms. The Fever don't just become a team, they become a movement. Sponsors? They'll be lining up around the block. Ticket sales through the roof. Young athletes inspired like never before. And the WNBA transformed. Because the combination of Larry Bird's legendary name and Caitlin Clark's cultural magnetism doesn't just elevate Indiana. It elevates the entire league. Together, they have the power to create a blueprint for the future, where women's basketball isn't just respected, it's celebrated at the same level as the men's game. Larry Bird and Caitlin Clark. History and the future colliding in real time. And the result? could be nothing short of revolutionary. This is bigger than the Indiana Fever. This is bigger than Caitlin Clark. This is even bigger than Larry Bird. What we're witnessing is the dawn of a new era in the WNBA. An era where legends of the past and stars of the future collide to create something we've never seen before. An era where women's basketball isn't just a sport, it's a cultural movement. The Fever are no longer just a franchise. They're a blueprint, a symbol of what happens when bold decisions meet generational talent, when history joins forces with innovation, when a rookie superstar is trusted not just to play, but to lead. And now the question is, how far can they take it? Will Larry Bird unlock Caitlin Clark's full potential? Will the Fever rise from underdogs to champions? And will this partnership ignite a ripple effect that transforms the WNBA forever? One thing's for sure, this story is just beginning. Now I want to hear from you. What do you think about Stephanie White being replaced by Larry Bird? And how do you feel about Caitlin Clark's reaction to it all? Drop your thoughts in the comments right now. Let's start the conversation. And don't forget, like this video, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a single update. Because if the WNBA is entering a new era, you'll want to be here to see every moment of it unfold. This isn't just basketball. This is history in the making.